At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Phone lines are open. They are open. We're going to take calls. If you guys haven't heard, if you haven't been around for the weekday shows, first off, you're missing out. You need to get to those 11 a.m. shows or watch them. Fun stuff. Unlike how this game ended for Arkansas. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Razorback fans, SEC fans, everywhere? Welcome to the one and only PTN, Pig Trail Network. I'm Ty Hudson, host, creator of the PTN. A lot to discuss. Holy cow, obviously Arkansas loses a nail-biter. I I had so many different titles for this show. Hogs lose nail biter. Hogs defense collapses against a mighty Ole Miss offense. Arkansas offense rebounds in second half, makes it a hell of a game, but it lends itself to a Big 12 type feeling to it. But ultimately, cave at the end. Obviously, I can't use that title because it is about that big, and YouTube will not allow that. So, a lot to discuss. Again, phone lines are open. If you are in our Discord, they are open. They're wide open. If you guys want to get in, you know what to do. For those of you who have made it to the shows and know what we're talking about, you can join our Discord. There's a description, or down below in the description box, there's a link provided for you there. You want to call in. Listen, keep it. Remember, YouTube they won't hesitate to cut my channel if I get someone in here, you know, what YouTube considers to be hate speech. So just keep that in mind. Don't act no shenanigans. But if you guys want to call in, that Discord phone line is open, and we have someone in there already. Let me take a call here really quick. Well, Tyler Edmondson's in there, but he hasn't. Okay, so he hasn't asked. So and remember too, you got to turn on. You got to make sure your mic isn't muted as well. Keep that in mind. And if you want your opportunity to talk, all you do is you click the request button. I want to start off with a 2-point conversion. I'll just say this. I don't mind the call. It's gutsy. It's ballsy. Your offense was working Ole Miss's defense. Ole Miss's defense was gassed. They were out. It's not a terrible call. I know people don't like it. I know there's going to be some folks that didn't like the call, and I get it. But it was ballsy. I guarantee you, had it worked, then people are going to say the other. They're going to put it the other way around. Again, I don't have an issue with the call. My problem was everything leading up to that, especially on defense. First half, the offense they find rhythm, then they lose it, then they kind of get it back and they lose it. I'm going to say this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to say it. The better team did not win today. Better team did not win today. You take away a fumble or a missed field goal, this game, the ending is completely different. Arkansas had them on the ropes. They turned the ball over. Rocket Sanders fumbles the ball, and all of a sudden they lost all the momentum they had leading up to that. And by the way, on that drive, they were averaging over 10 yards per play. They had 42 yards on those 4 plays. So they're averaging just north or right around 10 yards a play. I don't think the better team won. I know Ole Miss's defense is a little suspect, but Arkansas on the road, I don't know what their official attendance was. If someone has that, let me know. But in that hostile environment, for the offense to respond the way that they did made me feel really good. I mean, this was 2 top 20 teams going to battle. There's some positives to take away. Negatives, I'm really concerned about this 3-2-6 defense of Barry Odom's. I'm very concerned that what we saw last year at the halfway point, go back to last year at the halfway point in the season, other than your week 1 performance against Georgia, and by the way, you played great in the first half of that game against Georgia. Second half, they make a quarterback change. Or maybe, I can't remember when he came in. I think maybe he came in at the tail end of the first half, but regardless, second half, he gave up a bunch of yards. Georgia ran away with it because they're Georgia. But you fast forward to the next set of games. Defense either found a way to respond. I'm not saying that statistically they were great every one of those games, but the defense kept you in games. Today, and we saw it in Georgia, you were just bad. Georgia, Arkansas was just bad, offense and defense. But early on in that game, Arkansas's defense had absolutely no way of stopping Georgia on offense. You fast forward to this week, it's more of the same. I'm really concerned that maybe last year was a sign of – I'm not going to say what to expect every year as Odom as a defensive coordinator. Look, man, Odom is a great defensive coordinator. I just wonder if there's still something going on, whether it's depth, quality depth. Secondary got torched, gave up big play after big play. This is a 3-2-6 defense. So 3-2-6 defense is supposed to not just kind of slow that down. It's meant to stop big plays. It's meant to massively prevent those kind of things. And Ole Miss made it look pretty easy. You did have a couple of drop picks. Matt Corral, who, ESPN, they'd have you believe the guy should have won the Heisman today. It's over. It's over. He's the Heisman. But I think KJ was definitely the better quarterback today, despite what happened with that 2-point conversion. I think KJ was the MVP. I think he was the MVP of this game. So there were plenty of positives. Offensively, there were a lot of positives, the way they bounced back in the second half. But again, I don't think the better team won. I think Arkansas in a neutral site at home, I don't care if you want to play this next door at Auburn in their stadium. I don't care. Arkansas wins that game. They do. I don't know how you watch that and think otherwise. I think they were the better team. In fact, I don't think they should slip very much at all. Maybe a spot, and Ole Miss will probably, I'm sure they'll flip. I'm sure that's what's about to happen. Hawes brought that up in Discord. I was really impressed with Ole Miss's ability to just do whatever they wanted, but that also spoke a lot to the Arkansas's defense. I just was not impressed at all. There was nothing there to slow them down. Nothing. And look, I mean, Ole Miss is a really good offense. You guys heard me say it all last week. And I know someone's going to come through and, you're not giving Ole Miss you're not giving them their due credit. Bullshit. I did all last week. I said, Matt Corral, I'm not going to stand in the way of this guy being in the debate to be a Heisman, to be in contention for the Heisman. I'm not going to stand in his way. I really don't know if he should win it. Like I said, ESPN would have you believe that he should just walk away with it right now. He's the guy. I think KJ played better. His one blemish was a Hail Mary throw at the end of the first half. When you look at the stat sheet, his one blemish, that INT happened on a 50-50 jump ball to the end zone to end the half. KJ was incredible today. I don't care what you think of Ole Miss's defense. Did you see was it just me or were they jumping, especially in the third quarter? It was like every other snap on offense and defense, they were jumping the snap a little bit. And I thought they're going to call this eventually. Like sometimes, it happens. A coach will bring it to the ref's attention like, hey, they're jumping. You might want to keep an eye on that. And then the refs, correct the mistake. Never happened. Ole Miss, I thought, maybe I'm wrong. I'll go back and watch it. Looked to me like they jumped at least 2 or 3 times, no calls. But, Ole Miss are going to say that Arkansas got away. You know how this goes. It's going to go back and forth. And I do think Arkansas got away with a little bit. I saw some holds, sure. But at the same time, you're kind of happy they let them play because look what we got. We got a fantastic football game if you love offense. If you're a big Big 12 football fan, you liked what you just saw. By the way, what's the score of that Oklahoma-Texas game? Do we have a score on that? Matt Corral has our number this – huh? Well, you only play him once. Corral played like an All-American. Corral even ran Catalan over. I wouldn't say he ran him over. I think Catalan's – I don't think he's healthy. And it looked to me like Catalan just took a poor approach. He just took a wrong his angle that he took on Corral was, hell, you and I could have, broken that. I don't think he took a very good angle at Corral, but it was a good play by Corral. Corral played great. Corral really did. He played great. And when he couldn't get it done with his arm, he was doing it with his feet. I'll tip the cap. Their offense is legit, and I think they probably are the best offense in the SEC, or at least in the conversation of being the best offense in the SEC. They're great. Ole Miss held a lot. You could make the same argument for Arkansas. Arkansas had a lot of holds. There were several where I was like, I texted a friend of mine, like, they're going to call one of these eventually, and they didn't. They let them play. I think that was mostly what this was about. That horse collar was a great call. I have seen that missed so many times, and that was a great call by the officials. If Ole Miss goes 11-1, Carroll plays Matt Corral. Matt Corral plays like this. He deserves the Heisman. We'll see. If you do that in the SEC and he does more of what we saw today, yeah. What you look at, though, like Alabama, they got a bulk of their yardage, and a lot of his better performances came when Alabama subbed out. I don't know. Unfortunately, they don't play any elite defenses, I don't think, left. They already played Bama, and I think for a while we made the argument that Arkansas might be one of the better defenses in the SEC. I don't know if that's the case. And I don't know if it's injuries stacking up. I don't know what the deal is. But since, again, last year we saw the same thing. Middle of the year, and all of a sudden the defense just, it just wasn't what we were seeing at the beginning of the year, where they were providing the blueprint for other teams on how to stop these offenses. That's kind of what go back to Texas, man. Look, they are great. Like, Texas's offense is moving the ball. Now, to be fair, Oklahoma's not a very good defense. They're shaky. But I don't know, man. The defense just kind of, I don't know. We saw this a year ago. We did. It just collapsed. All of a sudden, we're scratching our head like, what is going on? Oh, okay. Well, it's Corona year. And then, of course, you did have Corona, right? You had the issue with the defensive line. Where you had where everyone had Corona. KJ played like a champ, says Jose Aguilar. Shaheed Mustafa, we just got to get bigger, faster, and stronger on defense. Patrick Smith, Auburn got 3 points on Georgia. Mike Wilmoss says they need to stop the flopping. Oh my God. Why hasn't the NCAA addressed this? Why hasn't anybody addressed this? The flopping is ridiculous. And they did it. I think they did it at least twice. You're seeing this week in and week out against teams that are getting absolutely bodied. Ole Miss was getting bodied, and they start flopping. Thank you, Wilmoth, for bringing that up. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Whoever schedules buys needs to talk to the Undertaker. Speaking of which, why don't you guys do a tombstone pile driver on the like button? Like, subscribe if you guys are new here. For those of you, I've had a few self-described creepers comment and say to me, I created a YouTube profile just so I could sub to you, to your account, to your YouTube. Love what you do, so on and so forth. Hey, if you're a creeper out there, know that your creeper brethren are stepping up and they're creating YouTube accounts and they're subscribing. So feel free to do the same. This is a heartbreaker, man, because, again, even when it seemed like Arkansas's momentum was gone, like this thing was going to get blown open by Ole Miss, they responded. Even the defense got them off the field once. On that fourth down, what a play. What a call by Odom. Again, Odom is a quality defensive play caller. I just wonder if you've got an injury, is there something we just don't know about? And, of course, hopefully we'll find out more from Sam Pittman. And then you got Auburn next. Like, the gauntlet continues. You've got Auburn next. And I don't know. We're going to have to reassess where Arkansas is at on through the week. We're going to have to assess what Auburn is and what that matchup's going to look like. Of course, we'll do that breakdown. Remember, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do those breakdowns for you. Well, we do the team breakdowns on Friday. I better clarify that. Shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, who operate out of Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. They will repair and or replace your garage door. For all your garage door needs, hit them up. Their link is provided for you. And right now, if you mention Pig Trail Network, I've had some of you reach out. We had at least a couple of people reach out like, hey, I need garage door or whatever. And I'm like, I send you the link. The link's right there in the description box, baby. Or if you're in our Discord, it's there too. But their link is provided for you, and it's 10% off. Just mention Pig Trail. That's all you got to do. Hey, Ty Hudson from Pig Trail sent me. I need, let's talk. Let's do some business. But, they do good work over there. And, again, they operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. For any other questions, feel free to contact them. And to Stated Apparel. Stated Apparel, all their shirts made right here locally. They're the softest shirts around. Yeah, they're made in Arkansas. These soft, wonderful shirts are made in Arkansas. They are located, again, we got a game coming up in Little Rock, so they're located in the downtown Benton area. Look them up. You can check out their entire, what they have in stock. And they carry two really big brands also. There are a couple other big brands. in native and clothing, Marsh clothing brands. So they carry those too. So go check out their merch. Go see what they got if you're down in Little Rock here on the 23rd for the Pine Bluff game. Or if you just live down there. I've got people, I know there's plenty of viewers that are down there. Go check them out. Oh my goodness, my notes are like 5 miles long here. There was really a lot to talk about. You go back to that first half, right? Look what you did in the first half. Your third down efficiency, you're awful. You're sub like 42% on third down conversions or something. Fourth down in the first half, you were 2 for 2, and you were 4 of 8 on third down, 50%. You held Ole Miss to 2 for 7. Ole Miss, by the way, I think they're actually worse on third down. You had more yards than Ole Miss did in the first half, 276 to their 236, with only 90 yards passing in the first half. Look what he did in the second half, what KJ did. You held Corral to 134. Both quarterbacks were accurate. KJ was 9 of 14. By the way, he had a drop. There was a big drop, and then you had the interception in the end zone. But KJ was 9 of 14. Corral was 8 of 11. Corral was averaging over 12 yards per completion in the first half. You had 186 on the ground, which is on par, right? Like that's what you want to see out of this offense. On 34 attempts, you're averaging almost 6 yards a carry. They were averaging about 4.5 yards a carry. You had 2 penalties. You did more than cut your penalties in half based on what we've seen in other first halves. You were 2 of 10 or 2 for 10 yards on penalties. Compare that to Ole Miss, 4 of 40. And again, you had the interception and the fumble in the first half, and the fumble on Raheem Sanders. We'll go to the in-game stats here in just a second. What a beat, Ty. Now, we had some super chats. Dear God, here we go. Matt Trosclair, Pittman made the right call to go for 2. Our defense was getting trashed. Exactly. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. That defense was not going to stop them in overtime. Sam Pittman saw it as the ball's in our court. Our defense has not responded. And you can argue that this was a call where he had no faith in his defense. It's not that he didn't have faith in the defense to get the stop. It's that they didn't have faith, or they probably had more faith, I would argue, in Ole Miss's offense's ability to take this game in overtime. He wanted to get it done. Boy, if that doesn't bring back some Brett Bielema vibes, I don't know what does. It was a gutsy call. We had a $2 super chat by Mr. T-Dub, worst possible 2-point conversion call. Run the ball, says T-Dub, and there was another one. Hang on, I'm scrolling up. Scrolling on up. I know there's another one up there somewhere, baby. Well, I guess not. I don't see it. Maybe it was taken down. KJ played his heart out. Thank you. I appreciate that. KJ's my hero, says Bloodline. Jenna Mayes. Well, nope, never mind. That wasn't what I thought. What up, Ty? Good game today. Our defense needs to be better. I agree, Hoyt. I agree 110%. What a game for Trey Knox, Ty. I know. Okay, I'm glad you said that because I actually was going to make a point on that. Again, phone lines are open. If you get in there and I don't answer or I don't pick up the line, hit me up in Discord. Hit me up, tag me in Discord. And I'll let you call in. I know someone's got something to say. I'm not mad, says Bloodline. It's called we lost a close game against a good team, a ranked team, by the way. Knox needs to stay with tight ends. Still believe in this team, says Thomas Nunley. Kept trying to the end. Team is still learning. Got some good takeaways. Still think we will be ranked. You will be. Arkansas will be ranked. If you drop completely out of the top 25, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. I think they were even the better team. Again, hit the like, tap the like button. Tombstone pile drive it, Stone Cold stun it, Diamond cutter it. The same damn move as the stunner. Hello, Belk Bowl, December 28th. All right. Ty, why do we have trouble hustling before halftime? We wasted 16 seconds. I'm telling you. First half performance by the offense this year has been not very good. All right. Remember, if you're in our Discord and you want to talk, you want to get in on the phone line here, you need to @ me. Make sure you @ me, include me. So here's some positives. Knox may have found his place in this offense. Trey Knox may have very well found his place in this offense, and I'm going to tell you something. That is absolutely huge for Arkansas to have another target wherever you want to line him up at. It looked like he played tight end a little bit. 5 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged over 7 yards per completion. A solid check down guy who can also, by the way, he can go up and grab those 50-50 jump balls. I can't tell you, when people ask me what the hell happened to Knox in this offense the last 2 years, I don't know. No idea. Put some weight on him. Let's get him working with, figuring out how to learn to block. I don't know that he'll ever be a great blocker as a tight end. Who knows, man? Who knows? Bulk him up. Get some gains in the weight room. You know what I'm saying? Get him some, I don't know, little creatine, whatever you're allowed to do with the NCAA. Pump the guy up, and next year, God willing, he doesn't transfer. He could be huge in this offense. Step up where your 1 and 2s haven't. Kern drops balls. Good blocker. Solid blocker. I don't know where Henry is. I don't know what his deal is. Treylon Burks in this game, 7 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 37-yarder. Warren Thompson. Here's the other big positive. Warren Thompson is becoming, if he hasn't already, he's the second guy now. We've been asking all year, okay, when you're in a situation where you've got to throw the ball 33, 35 times, which is not what this offense really wants to do in Kendall Briles, veer and shoot. But if you're forced to throw the ball around, where's our number 2? Because you heard them. You heard these guys. You heard ESPN. They're going to double team Treylon Burks. He's going to have all the attention. And who came through at the end? It was someone other than Burks. It was Warren Thompson. That is huge for this offense. If you can get Warren Thompson to step up and be that Mike Woods guy. I'm not saying he's going to run the deep routes like Woods, although he has a bomb this year. Earlier he caught a deep ball from KJ Jefferson. Golly, dude, KJ, I can't brag enough about this guy. I really can't. KJ is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing in this offense and then some. He'll put this offense on his back. And what's great is you don't feel like, in years past, you've always felt like we got to have this one guy bail us out, or maybe we can get running back going or whatever. It's like you've got 4 or 5 weapons that as we grow as the year goes on, that are big parts of this offense. That have made their way. They're finding themselves as the year carries on. Warren Thompson and Trey Knox. Knox, this is the beginning, right? I think he's starting to lay that foundation. We talk about that with coaches all the time when they take over whatever, football, basketball, laying the foundation. But as a player in this offense, Knox made strides today. And you talk about a confidence boost for both those guys. Think about what this does for Burks. Think about what this does for the running game. Think about what this does for KJ Jefferson and his confidence as he now feels like he can go through his reads and feel pretty comfortable. I don't have to throw to brick hands Kern over here. I now have someone that I can throw a good check down throw to. And Knox is good enough too. He can get the yak. He's hard to tackle, man. Big frame. And he's pretty, I'm not going to say he's fast for that size, but he's quick for that size. KJ Jefferson, even though it was mostly against a 3-man front against Ole Miss, he had all day to throw. He had 1 sack. It was, if I remember right, and I was having some internet issues, I'm not going to lie. I was Marco Poloing, a friend of mine, showing him. My screen just kept freezing, and it was on that play where he got sacked. It did it again where it froze. I don't really know if it was a blitz. I don't know what happened on that play, but that was the only time he went down. I don't know if it was a coverage sack. It looked like it might have been, but the offensive line gave him all day to throw. And you may say whatever you want about Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that's averaging 3 sacks a game coming into this one. So, 12 sacks through 4 games. And they could not get pressure. And think about that too, why you're able to do that. It wasn't just great blocking, too. It was the play calling. You were running it down their throat, and that's what the defense is looking for. The RPO was crushing. It didn't do what we wanted it to early. Had some good runs. KJ definitely made some plays early. But then in the second half, you saw what can happen when the defense is guessing run on almost every drive. The offense just grew today. You needed this game. Say what you want. Like the Texas game happened. You were great. I felt like, man, we know they could have put more points up. The same thing could be said about A&M, But then it kind of, you felt like, I know we played Georgia, who's probably the best team in college football. You have to say that as long as Bama's undefeated, remember. And maybe Georgia, maybe they trip up here in the next few weeks. I don't know. But that game, you felt like, did they just expose something that's really wrong with this team? And it certainly looked that way in the opening half. Not that it was all bad, but that it was somewhat bad. In fact, it was a little bit of a mix of both. You take away that fumble, who knows what they could have done. Again, on that drive, they're averaging over 10 yards or 10 yards per play. But then you responded in the second half, and you just opened up the biggest can of whoop-ass from the offense's perspective. Your defense was getting its ass whooped, but you responded. They didn't bow out like a Chad Morris team would have, or the end of the Brett Bielema era like those teams did. Go back. Remember Virginia Tech and Mizzou not that long ago? Games that feel like they happened back-to-back, but Mizzou was the final game of the year. Then that happened in the Belk Bowl, if I remember right. They just fell apart in the second half. This team didn't. Defense kind of stepped up a little bit, and then they just fell apart. But the offense did a great job of keeping them in it. I think the better team I don't think the better team won. I think Arkansas is the better team. They didn't let go of the rope. They stayed with it. There's probably more positives, and this is weird to say. I feel like moving forward, there's more positives than negatives. One of the reasons why I say that is because Ole Miss might be the best offense in college football. I'll say it again. Ole Miss might be the best offense in college football. You could talk about these schools that play in non-P5. Ole Miss has got to play an SEC schedule, and they're doing this. Now, Alabama, you could say what happened there and whatever happened in the fourth quarter. Ole Miss was able to spread its wings when Alabama was rotating a little bit. By the way, they were. Alabama absolutely was rotating players in the fourth quarter, going to their second string and so on and so forth. But they were still able. You have to tip the cap. This offense is extremely explosive. Matt Corral is an awesome quarterback. I'm not going to make any bones about it. Now, they're Ole Miss. Their defense is – it wouldn't shock me at all if these guys slip up somewhere, and they're going to. I think they are. I think their defense is really suspect. But that offense is good enough. They're going to stay in a lot of games this year. Would not shock me at all if they finish with double-digit wins. Wouldn't shock me. Their offense is you can argue they're ahead of where a lot of people thought they would be at in year two. And you can say the same damn thing about Arkansas. Hudson Henry, man, highly hyped with a great last name. I believe he has 1 touchdown catch in 2 years. Injuries aside, we got 2 awesome yeah, you do. You've got 2 tight ends coming up. Chat's really hard to keep up with. Linebackers did not play well. Just can't get over the loss when it should have been a win. That turnover lost us the game. Well, the turnover, and again, like you said, like you pointed out in the first part of your comment, Sean, ultimately your defense just completely collapsed. Now, again, Ole Miss, like I said, they might be the best offense in the country. And I'm sure there's someone, floating out in the ethos I'm just not even thinking about. But based on what Ole Miss has been able to do, Arkansas's defense is not – I don't think they're as bad as what we saw today. Now, I am still concerned about a second half of the season collapse on defense. I'm concerned that maybe Georgia kind of wrote out the blueprint for how to deal with Barry Odom's 3-2-6. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Ty, are you still sitting at 8 wins? Yes, I am. I'm not backing off 8. I like 8-4. Nothing happened today that made me second guess that at all. Defense has me a little concerned. That'll be something we'll have to keep up with. And I kept that in mind when I put out my win-loss record. When I put Arkansas at 8-4, I had that in the back of my mind. I really did with this Arkansas defense, with how they collapsed a year ago. But then you correct that in saying, or at least in your mind, well, hold on. They weren't able to develop the back end of their depth chart. They didn't have spring camp. You had all sorts of interruptions throughout the offseason. It wasn't a normal business as usual year in 2020 because of COVID and all the regulations and all the stuff that was handed down from the NCAA. So maybe that's why. If this is the case, right? If that's the case that all it takes is for one team to kind of crack open or to crack the Barry Odom 326 code, then that is troubling. You're going to have to make some adjustments. I don't know what that means. Do they not feel comfortable running 4 down defensive linemen? Do they not feel comfortable maybe switching to a 4-2 multiple defense? What is their hesitation with going with a primary 4-man front? Like, what is their hesitation? Because clearly, when a team wants to run the ball, they can. When a team wants to run the ball, the only real exception to that rule was I would argue Texas. You were able to hold down a pretty damn good running back in Robinson. Spiller had that one great run. Other than that, you held him north or south of 4 yards a carry. But we've seen now in back-to-back weeks at about the same time, you go back to a year ago, all of a sudden now anybody can, like, you've had 2 teams, and they're not just anybody. I shouldn't say that. Georgia's, again, we all know how good Georgia is, and we all are very well aware of how good Ole Miss's offense is. They have a shot at proving me wrong, but then again, you've got Auburn on the 16th. Let's see what they do at home against Auburn. And then you have Pine Bluff. I don't know that you're going to get many questions answered there. And then you got your much-needed bye week. By the way, why the hell is your bye week at the end of October? Why is that? Can someone answer that for me? Whose idea was it to not only schedule Texas, then to have this 4-game gauntlet, and then to be like, you know what, let's schedule Pine Bluff at the end or towards the end of the month, and then we'll give them their bye week. Like, whose idea was that? Why did this bye week not happen after playing Georgia or after A&M? Or after Ole Miss? And I know they've got a lot of you got to consider everybody else. I get that. When they do their schedules, there's only so much you could do within the SEC, and I think the SEC kind of sets they kind of set the blueprint for teams, and then you just kind of fill in where you can, and maybe that's what's going on. I would love to hear from Hunter Yurachek, though, if he could answer that question. And I'm not holding him responsible. I'm just curious, why are we taking our bye week at the end of October, for the love of God, when you have this difficult of a schedule? I don't give a damn about the Pac. I don't care about the ACC. Definitely don't care about the Big 12. In the SEC, to go through that gauntlet and not have your bye week till the end of October makes no sense to me. Greg Stanky hates Arkansas. All right. All right, well, Crazy Hog. If we go to a bowl game, they're going to a bowl game, man. I'll say it now. Sam is doing kind of like Bobby his second year. He went to a bowl game against East Carolina. Okay, so you're seeing all right, fair enough. That could happen. They could fall 6-6. Georgia's up 10-3. What do you think, Ty? Should we do the Kirby Smart thing like he did against us? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Watch Ole Miss next week. We still whoop their ass. They're going to be sore. And that's the other part of it, too, is surviving the grind. Ole Miss has got a grind of their own to go through, and that's tough, man. That's something you just can't answer. I feel like we might need to play some nickel for me. Yeah, go a little 4-2. Go the 4-2. 6-man front. You creep the safety up, your third safety. Play him like the wolf. Or the nickelback. Ty, do you think we're just running out of bodies, so to speak? Or did the defense just kind of let go? Monteric Brown, late in the game, I think late in the third or early fourth, looked like he was limping around. Catalon looked a little banged up. I do think injuries are starting to set in, and the grind of this. And by the way, Ole Miss does not play physical football, man. I'm sorry. What's his name? The Alabama quarterback. His name always slips my mind. Greg McElroy. Man, come on. You're so full of shit. They don't play physical football, dude. It is finesse. Sam Pittman was right. When they were quoting him, he was right. Ole Miss is not physical, man. They got popped in the mouth, and they had a little bit of a hard time responding until they did, because their offense is built to do that. They're good. Again, they're great offense. You can call it like it is. They're not physical. Now the way they played today, they're pretty good. Again, tip of the cap, man. With that offense, good God, I don't know if very many teams are going to beat or outscore the way Ole Miss was playing at home. Again, play them at neutral site or at home, I think Arkansas wins the game. Or you take away one fumble, or you kick the field goal, I think you win this game. Ty, I say 9-3 if we get our defense to step back up. That's the thing. Can they respond? Can they respond to what? Can they respond to what happened the last 2 weeks? If our defense steps up, we go 9-3. It's a big if, man. Problem is we don't have quality depth. Yeah, I know it. They got to get there. Where's Mr. Elite Defensive Lineman at? Not in chat again, is he? Boy, he vanishes. How convenient. If he's in there, I haven't seen him. Let's see. 8 straight games with no bye. It is a wonder that the Hogs haven't had more injuries than we do. Boy, better knock on some wood. I know that. Someone said tie for defensive coordinator. Hey, guess what? You can't criticize, right? You're allowed to criticize the Razorbacks. By the way, I just want you to know you can't criticize. Definitely not Barry Odom, and I definitely don't know his job better than he does. But I can't tell you what I watched. I can't tell you with my eyeballs what I see as some of the issues. I love that argument, by the way. I love that argument because it's not a very good one. Like, well, you know, Monday morning quarterback. What the hell do you think? What do you think? You know, Trey Biddy, Mark Rogers, name any YouTuber, RJ Young, hell, ESPN, not comparing us to them, not comparing myself to any of those guys, but I mean, I think you guys would agree with most of what I've said. Nothing I'm saying is probably everything I've said. You guys probably said while you were watching the game. As a matter of fact, we all have eyeballs. Sure, it helps that I played, but you know, you're talking about high school over 20 years ago. But I know what I saw, and they had some issues. Defensive line got absolutely bodied, and they shouldn't have. Where was consistent pressure on Matt Corral? Remember, that was something we talked about on Friday. Was not there, man. I'm just told you guys. This is why I made this argument on the Mark Rogers show that I caught so much heat for. I mean, I had a couple people in DMs, caught someone in my live chat or in one of the comments of one of my videos who saw me on Mark Rogers, wanted to point out that I had zero knowledge. Where you at? See, man, it's funny how these people disappear. It's funny how they disappear, but then they have one decent game. It's like, oh, I told you. Where the hell are you at now, man? At least show up. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Lance Russell says linebackers flew to where they thought they were going to. Right. Yeah. So they missed. They shot wrong gaps. There's a play where Morgan put himself out of the play entirely on one of those runs in the third quarter. He just read the play wrong. He was watching the wrong gap. Oh, Jenna, it happens. Love the fact that people message you. It definitely happens. What's funny is it's not as common as it used to be. When I made edited content, oh my God, it was like, especially when a video did pretty well. And yeah, I'd have people. I'd get DMs. Stopping our momentum with fake injuries. It's old. I'm telling you, man, that stuff is, I don't know how the NCAA addresses it. I do think if that player, what I've suggested before is, and I know a number of you had agreed with it, is when a player goes down and it stops the play, it stops everything from happening. You've got a player on the ground. He should miss, I don't know, the rest of that drive or sit out for the next 3 or 4 plays. I don't know. And let's say the next play is a punt. Okay, then he should sit out the next 3 plays of that next drive when he's out on the field. There's ways they can address this. They just have chosen not to, and I don't know why. They learned that from Gus. Did you see? So you remember when that happened with Auburn, when that guy looks around and he fell? Same thing happened today. Same thing happened. I'm telling you, man, that's some cowardice stuff right there, man. I'm not hating Ty. You have good insight. I don't know. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you. 2 series, when they do it, they're trying to sub intentionally. It's not slows down per se. So, right, but it still stops the momentum. They're very well aware, Josh Rubble. They're very well aware that it stops momentum. Make no mistake about it. They know what they're doing when they do it. And it is to get substitutions because you can't substitute unless the offense subs out. Defense cannot do anything as long as you're going high tempo. Yes, when a player is injured, and look, you have to take, every time a player goes down, you have to take it serious. And I'm all for that. Make sure they're okay. There's things that you can't tell even when they just fall down. There's things that you can't tell. You know, you got to take them serious. I'm all for that. My argument is, okay, now we need to reassess them, take them into the tent. Hell, I don't care. Take them to the locker room, assess them. But there needs to be a trade-off there. You have stopped the play. Now you're able to substitute, and you've killed momentum. If you notice, a lot of the times when this happens, it's after Arkansas's had a couple of big plays, and the defense needs a gas. They need to come up for air. Oh, I'm hurt. I guess I better go down. I mean, come on. That's a bunch of bullshit, and you know it. So, yeah, I mean, take it serious. He needs to be out. Whether it's the rest of the series or it's the whatever. I'm all for taking it serious and treating the player as you should. You treat it as though it's a serious, or it could be potentially serious. Maybe it's dehydration. You know, maybe it's a serious cramp. But get him off the field, and he needs to sit out for a little while. We get the 2-point conversion. Pittman is a genius. Exactly. I think it was the right call. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Still so glad we didn't hire Kiffin. I don't know about that. I like nothing against Pittman. I love Pittman. He's obviously been great. But I'm glad. I'll say this. I'm glad that I was wrong about Sam Pittman. I'll say that. I was wrong. I sat here and told you guys after he was hired, I said it's an underwhelming hire, and it feels like a in between kind of hire. Like you needed, you could save some cash. Maybe he works out, maybe he doesn't. Hopefully he can build a foundation and bring the next guy in. He is the next guy. Looks that way to me. I don't know how you look at it any other way. I don't know why you keep bringing up 2 series. What are you talking about? Who cares? Once is too many times. I don't know if you're talking to somebody else or if you're talking to me, 1 time is too many times. If you're falling down just so you can make a substitution and slow the offense down, that's 1 time too many. I thought the same thing. Sit out at least the series. Exactly. So the final, again, tip the cap to Ole Miss. They have a great offense. They really do. The final numbers are pretty impressive for Arkansas from an offensive standpoint. 25 of 35 from KJ. Take away the pick, take away the drop throw. You're talking about 27 of 35. That's pretty freaking impressive. 3 passing touchdowns, again with that interception that happened at the end of the first half on a Hail Mary throw. Raheem Sanders, congratulations. I believe that's his first 100-yard rushing game of the year. Maybe his second, but I think it's his first because Traylon Smith had the first one. But Raheem Sanders, 17 carries, 139 yards. He had a 42-yard run from the line of scrimmage. KJ Jefferson, 400 total yards of offense with 6 touchdowns. Matt Corral did a great job of putting Ole Miss on his shoulders, no doubt. KJ Jefferson was the better quarterback today in his house. All this talk about the Matt Corral redemption tour. Congratulations. You won a hell of a game. You're a great quarterback, but KJ Jefferson is the storyline in my opinion. Who the hell had this guy having 6 total touchdowns today? I didn't think he'd be MVP. I said I looked for him to he could have a good game. Over 400 yards of offense with 6 touchdowns. If you have a fantasy football team and KJ's your quarterback, holy crap, you just scored a ton of points. Congrats to KJ, man. What a game. You talk about a confidence booster. Traylon Smith, 11 carries, 85 yards. So again, KJ with 3 passing, 3 rushing touchdowns. Traylon with a rushing touchdown. Dominic Johnson, who has really – his production in this offense is just – it's not – I don't know, man. He went from being who looked like the best of the bunch to just kind of being one of the guys. 4 carries, 19 yards. Longest run from the line of scrimmage was 9 yards. A.J. Green, who's also seeing his role kind of bounce around a little bit, and it's kind of coming back. 3 carries, 16 yards. His longest run from the line of scrimmage was 8. How about Devion Warren on that little on his carry, 11 yards on his one carry. Treylon Burks had a carry for a yard. And Malik Hornsby, I don't know what that was. We haven't even talked about that. No one's brought that up that I've seen. I don't know what that was. But he went backwards for 6 yards. Funny enough, though, you were still able to get a first down. Treylon Burks, one of the best games he's had as a Razorback receiver. 7 catches, 136 yards with a touchdown. Remember, he had the 37-yard catch. Back-to-back bombs. You're going to go man coverage on Treylon Burks. You see now why the guy is looked at as a first-round talent. Warren Thompson, who came up so big today, 4 catches, 76 yards. Trey Knox, second in receptions. He hasn't done that since his freshman year on campus. 5 catches, 37 yards with a touchdown with the 15-yarder. Tyson Morris came up, 3 catches, 26. Raheem Sanders caught the ball. Remember, he played wideout a little bit in high school. 3 catches, 26 yards. Devion Warren, 1 for 12. Dominic Johnson, 1 for 11. Treylon Smith, 1 for 2. A.J. Green returned kicks. He had 3 kicks for 20 yards, or combined for 60, but a grand total average of 20, with a 21-yarder being his longest. Nathan Perotti only returned 1 punt for a whopping 4 yards. They still have no hope of punt return. Cam Little missed 1, but he got another one. Right? Not bad. Reed Bauer only punted the ball twice. He didn't have a single punt inside the 20, but he did have a 53-yarder. On 2 punts, he had 90 yards, so he averaged right at 45 yards a punt. What is Cam Little on the year? Is he 9 of 11? Is that right? Well, of course, it's not going to load for me. I thought he was 9 of 11. Definitely 100%, which is impressive on 17. I mean, that's to be expected. 17 of 17. You saw Ole Miss. They missed their field goal, so maybe it is impressive. But, yeah. So, good for him. A bounce back at least. He got those points. That was a drive killer when Malik did that. Yeah, I don't know. We all knew they have a package for Malik Hornsby. We've known that. We've talked about it all fall camp. Talked about it through the Rice prep week. We've talked about it about every single week. Well, actually, it's been a little bit since we last talked about it, but we've had talked about it quite a bit. When and how much does Malik see the field this year? And he's seen it quite a bit. And we also knew, like this was going to happen because of injuries. KJ's going to run the ball a lot, and he's probably going to miss some time. You got to have QB2 ready to go. QB2 is just as important as QB1, without a doubt. All right. So we've got a little bit of time left. If you want to call in, the phone lines are open. I don't know if we're going to keep doing that. I had 2 people in there earlier and they bounced, or I had at least a person. I had a number of you tell me I need to do this. Here it is. Here's your opportunity. So if you want to call in, here's your chance. I'm looking right at it. If anyone wants to hop in here and they've got anything to say, maybe you disagree. Ty, I disagree, sir. How dare you? This defensive line is elite. How dare you, sir? Malik needs work just like KJ. Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. KJ wasn't perfect. But he did come in against Mizzou and put on a pretty similar show. Someone said in our Discord, this is very reminiscent of the Mizzou second half. It was. I agree with that. I do think, again, Barry Odom's 326, it's just getting more and more exposed week and week, or week after week. Yeah, sure, you had the play early on. Was it Drummond on the busted coverage? How did you get to that point? Someone brought that up, and a couple of you guys talked about in Discord. Well, that was just busted coverage. How did you get to that point? Because they were running the ball north and south. You're looking run. You're selling out for the run. That's what the linebackers are keying in on. You did have busted coverage, but then they were able to just go back and do whatever they wanted on the defense. The 3-2-6 is getting exposed. Let's hope that this is that they've figured it out. They've got Auburn and Pine Bluff, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, or down in Little Rock. You've got Arkansas, Pine Bluff. Hopefully they get it sorted out. And this is no more of what we've seen these last 2 weeks. If not, I mean, Auburn has shown they can move the ball on offense. We're going to find out a lot more. The problem is our linebackers were all over the place. Right. They made some misreads, but This is a very linebacker-driven defense in terms of like your front. Like it's very important that your linebackers are shooting the right gaps. And another thing too that I saw, Ole Miss was able to set the edge. Not really seeing anybody be able to do that, and they were able to do it. And that's when it felt like all of a sudden Ole Miss wasn't afraid to do anything. They could do whatever they wanted. Even a 9-year-old playing NCAA 14 knows when you're getting killed by a run game, you move to the 4-2-5. It could be a personnel thing. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I was fine for going for 2, but would have ran it, says Cade Trier. I don't know if that play selection – I know that play worked for him earlier in the game, but it was clear Ole Miss was looking for it. Again, I don't have a problem with it. Maybe I have a little bit of an issue with the play selection. Sanders and Green will be hard to handle in the future when these massive O-line that Sam brought in get ready. Odom's defense needs to be tweaked. Seems teams are moving the ball easier. Yeah, I agree. Bo Nix is going to cause some problems. Yeah, and Auburn, watch them a little bit this year. They can set the outside edge, which is something Arkansas hasn't allowed a lot of. Of course, I was 100% on going for it. Oh, okay, you two were talking to each other here. Our defense couldn't get a stop, so we – right, and that's why it's the right call. Your defense couldn't stop a cold. Your defense couldn't stop a cold. Ridgeway and Nichols, Clark, or Blair. I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you for the comment, Cadet Hill. All right. We have someone here. Randall Cade wants to say something. All right, Randall. Mike is yours, my friend. Just remember to accept it. Oh, hang on. I don't have my speaker on. Hang on before you talk. I keep my speaker turned off because sometimes I get background noise. All right, Randall, what do you got for me, man?
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I just want to say that's probably the worst loss that I've watched since 2010 Ohio State. Probably the worst regular season loss I've ever watched. And it reminds me of 2015, the Henry Heave. I think the score was like the exact same. We went for 2 and made it, but this time we went for 2 and missed it. So.
Okay. You think it was a worst loss since the Sugar Bowl loss?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right. Well, that's all I had.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your calling in, I guess we should call it. Appreciate it, Randall. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. No problem.
I don't know about that because that was a BCS bowl. I mean, I get it. Your feeling. I get it. Like, it feels like that. And I agree. There's some similar feelings. I'm bad about comparing losses. That's just, it's tough to lose any game. That's a tough one. It's hard to swallow. I agree. It is, especially when you feel like you were the better team. When you feel like you're the better team and you lose, not that Ole Miss is a bad team. That's not hating on Ole Miss at all. Again, I'll say, you guys heard me earlier. I think this might be the best offense in college football. And Lane Kiffin, year 2, doing that is incredible. Now, it helps he had Matt Corral, right? Kind of into a perfect scenario here for him. Ole Miss was up. And this is the thing. Like, you had Georgia, where Georgia's sick and tired of hearing about Arkansas. They want to make a statement win, and they did exactly that. And then you have this Ole Miss redemption tour by Matt Corral. There's always some bullshit narrative that works. Like, that's all they talked about was it's redemption for Matt Corral. Like, the dude hasn't been killing it all year. He hasn't thrown a single pick. Should have been picked off twice today, by the way. Imagine how different this game is if you don't fumble. And that it is woulda, coulda, shoulda. I get it. Some people hate that. I get it. But it is worth noting you dropped 2 picks. One of those was definitely catchable for sure. I thought they both were. And then imagine, too, if you don't fumble the ball. These are things worth noting because also I talked about this on Friday. Ole Miss is the kind of team that will take advantage of that, and that is exactly what they did. Someone in chat was like, yeah, but it hasn't worked against us so far this year. They run loose with the ball, man. I'm surprised they didn't fumble it a lot more. In fact, they did fumble it a second time, but we recovered it. We're putting the ball on the field too much. And it wasn't Malik today. It was 2 backs that put it on, who play, who carry the ball out of the backfield every week, almost every week. And Ole Miss is good enough. They're going to take advantage of that. Again, you're lucky you didn't turn the ball over more. Because Ole Miss is good enough, they can absolutely force some fumbles, some takeaways on the ground. Do we have another? Anyone else? Lines are open. If you want to get in here, I'm gonna keep this going for just a little bit longer. I agree. If this was played in Fayetteville, there would have been probably been a different outcome. I think there would have been. I had the sound off for the last quarter. For the last quarter of the game, you had the sound off. Were you listening to Chuck? Mike Wilmoth says Ole Miss offense has a lot of injuries in O-line and wide receiver. They do. They had they're missing Ely today. They're starting left guard. But I stand by. I think you've got Catalan playing with injuries. You've got Dalton Wagner playing with injuries at right tackle. You've got your own stuff that you're dealing with. But, yeah, Ole Miss is a little banged up, and they still look really good. Why did ESPN massage? Annoying. Look, they did give love to KJ, and they talked about how, they talked about KJ's performance. I'll give them that. When you've got a guy like Matt Corral, I get it, but then they just keep going, man, and it just doesn't stop. The guy just walks on water. It gets to a point where it's like, man, all right, I get it. You think the guy should be the Heisman right now. I understand that. Catalan for sure is playing with injuries. Since A&M, something happened. I don't know if it was a hand injury. I'm not sure. Where was that caller during the Chad Morris years, says Thomas Joyce. I think what he's talking about, you gotta remember, I think, from the standpoint of you being ranked, you've gone, you beat the crap out of Texas. You should have frog stomped A&M had KJ not been banged up. From the standpoint of, look, we're a good team versus the Chad Morris years where you were never a good team, right? So those losses they're easier to take when you understand what you are. They're easier to take when you know we've got a clown for a head coach. I don't usually take personal shots at people, but he was a clown for a head coach. I'll put it like that to be nicer. I don't like taking personal shots at people, but the guy was there was no sense of anybody on that staff knowing what the hell they were doing. They were always in over their head. I'll even say the same thing about John Chavis. They never were in a position where Arkansas could make plays and put them in a position where they could, win some big games. I know they played well against A&M once, but now you have something, and I think that's what he's talking about. And I agree. I think you're the better team today. I think that's what he's talking about, and I get it. His shoulder popped out. Whose shoulder popped out twice? Oh, you're talking about Catalan? Did it? Cadet Hill says, I wish we had Ridgeway in the middle, pulled either Clark or Blair in coverage. Yeah. I'll tell you what surprised me the most, and doesn't look like we have anyone else that wants to call in. Final shot here. If you want to call in, Mo Brown giving up that touchdown in the fourth. Monteric Brown, who has been a lockdown corner. Now, I don't know if he got beat by a double move. I don't know what happened at the beginning of that. If he just simply got beat off and he was playing beat off the line of scrimmage. I better finish that sentence. I don't know if he got beat at the line of scrimmage. I don't know what happened. But him getting beat deep, that doesn't happen very often. In fact, I'm not sure that happened more than once last year, maybe twice. I don't know. Looking back, he is a solid corner. I'm not saying the guy's an NFL draft pick. I don't know why he's not talked about more. I certainly wouldn't have a problem with the Rams drafting him late in the draft somewhere, but he is not someone that gets beat deep often. And him getting beat was pretty was very surprising. What's the number I'll call in? So it's a Discord call in. All you got to do is join our Discord. That's it. And you get to come in and you can join that way. The first time we did this, we had several people calling. So if you guys want to join our Discord, there's a link, and that's how you can do it. We absolutely must beat Auburn next week. Love you, my dear piggies. Thank you, Ty. Hey, appreciate it, Kate. This one hurt. It does hurt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It hurt. So, again, Brian, and those of you asking, you join the Discord. All you got to do, create a real quick account if you haven't already. If you have a Discord, all you do is you go down to the Ty Talks room on the left side of the Discord screen, and right there's the ability to call in. It's okay. Go Hogs. Played well. Second half, defense played far better. Or offense, sorry. Mix that up. The offense played far better. I am a little bit concerned moving forward about the defense. How they respond is going to be huge. How they respond is going to be big. And I think they can. I really do. Barry Odom is a quality defensive coordinator, right? They've gotten kind of beat up these last couple of weeks. Got to respond. This gauntlet in the SEC, man, this is why it's so tough. It's why it's tough to rebuild in this conference, especially in the SEC West. Ty, remember we were supposed to be in the fast left lane, but ended up being on the shoulder with tire problems, all kinds of issues. Tire, your motor, your windows wouldn't roll back up. Crazy. Go Bison. Says Sooner 99. Boy, your conference sucks, doesn't it? While this sucks, it is so much better than when we were getting our asses kicked a couple of years ago. Yeah, and you don't respond. You don't respond under Chad Morris. You didn't respond. Those guys let go of the rope by the second quarter. We were left lane hammered down today. Would have given Chad. Oh, you guys! I forgot about the left lane. Just had 4 flats. Yeah, that was terrible. It was terrible. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. Monday, remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. If you guys want to come be a part of that. Shout out to Patreon supporters, to the sponsors of this show, Stated Apparel and Direct Service Overhead, to you guys in the live chat. Remember to like the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. Tough one to swallow today, but hey, this team didn't let go. They played. They fought hard. Really, I think you could argue there were more positives than negatives. The problem being that the one negative being the biggest is you lost the game. And another negative is there's something to be concerned about with the defense moving forward. Maybe that'll be our Monday question. I'm not sure yet. But hopefully they can rebound. I think they can do it. I really do. I think the defense is better than where they're at a year ago. You've got more quote-unquote quality depth at certain positions on defense, and I think they're more likely to rebound than anything. And can the offense build off of their success today, like we thought they were going to do off Texas? I really thought what we saw against Texas, I really thought that was going to be the week in and week out. Like, this is going to be a team that scores north of 35, 36 points a week. Obviously, that didn't happen against Georgia, but that's Georgia. They did it today. So maybe this is, maybe they can. Maybe they are a 35, 36 point per team kind of game on offense. We'll see. So, all right. I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm going to go eat some Kobe's in Fayetteville. You guys ever been to Kobe's? Next time you're here, well, you'll be here soon maybe. You should go check that place out. I love that place. We're going to go eat there. We have no kids tonight. We're kid-free tonight, baby. They're at the in-laws. That's called winning. That's what that is. Living the dream. So we're going to go eat some Kobe's. Good stuff. All right. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys on Monday, 11 a.m. Go Hogs.